Hello, welcome to the Digital Marketing Training by Celtech. This is a foundation course, gives you heads up. After this foundation course, we're going to be looking at about 50 hands-on on the different digital marketing components, on the different digital marketing strategies. So it's going to be about 20-part series. So let's just get started. Now, what's digital marketing? What's marketing? So ordinarily, marketing has to do with you trying to communicate value. But if you're communicating that value on the digital space, you call that digital marketing. Now, marketing has to do with telling people about the value of a particular product, a particular service that you're rendering. So most people confuse marketing for selling or sales. Now, there are two different things. So sales has to do with that transactional part, whereas marketing has to do with that solicitation, that conversation, that telling people about the value of your product or your service. And of course, it's going to be to that potential customer. And the goal of this is to make sure that you can convert that person to be a paying client, to a paying customer. Now, why do we need to do marketing? Everybody, you want to sell a product, you want to sell a service, and that's why it's very, very crucial for you to market. So any business that stops marketing stops making sales. So look at marketing as you try to tell people about the value of what you have to offer. And marketing has to do with maximizing relationship. So if you want to have more sales, try to learn how to create relationships, because it's those relationships that you can now try to communicate value to. Now, market research is very important if you want to come into the digital space, if you want to advertise, if you want to do marketing, because you need to understand how do you structure your price, how do you do better promotion, how do you brand, what's the perception of your prospects with respect to what you're doing in the digital space. And in trying to do market research, you want to gain some insight. How should I price my product? How should I price my laptop? Or rather, if I have a product like, for instance, selling a laptop, how should I price it? Should I go for more volume or should I go for quality? Should I have different price bands for my products and services, or should I have just one pricing? So you need a lot of research, you need a lot of competition analysis to be able to tell what best option to use. Now, in this course also, we're going to be doing some research, we're going to be doing some competition analysis in our case studies and examples, so that you can better understand how to price your products, how to price your services. The most important goal is that you want to be able to better communicate value so that that can translate into sales for you. And your research can actually be primary, that is you doing that yourself directly over the phone, having some kind of focus group, asking people questions, doing interviews to try to gauge what their perception is, to gauge what price they're willing to pay. And of course, you could do some kind of secondary research if you got to look at other people's products, their services, their publication, their articles, their store, to see what they may be pricing their products and services. And of course, we all know what the internet is. So we're talking about the internet because when we say digital marketing, it's slightly different from conventional or traditional marketing. In digital marketing, you're trying to harness the advantage of the internet. Normally, in basic computing, we say internet is 2, 3, or more than 2 computers connected for sharing resources. Resource can be files, it can be typically anything. So we are trying to do marketing over the internet. Now, I want to talk about a very important concept when it comes to marketing, e-business. Now, e-business is very crucial. Think about your different business processes. If you have a store, or if you sell a particular item, or if you run consulting, even for people that run consulting, you want to productize your services. When I say productize your service, I'm trying to say you want to make sure that you can quantify your time, You can quantify the kind of services that you offer so that you can have good value for money. So you can quantify the services that you run by the value that you are delivering. So e-business have to do with automating most of your business processes. So what are your business processes? If you run a pharmacy shop, for instance, or you have a boutique, or you have a car stand, now you're going to be doing what we call daily business activities. And most of those business activities that you run daily is going to translate to things like buying. You're going to be selling. Of course, you're going to buy your items, then you're going to sell your items. If you're a consultant, you're going to go for certifications, you're going to go for trainings, you're going to go for, you're going to run partnerships, you're going to do a lot of things so that you can translate that to better service delivery. So I said you're going to buy, you're going to sell, you're going to do recruitment, you will need staff members, you're going to receipt, you're going to invoice, you're going to collect payments, you're going to ship or maybe send a parcel or send stuff to people that are not within your geographical locations. Now, all of those processes are normal business processes. Now, in e-business, we're trying to say, how can we translate that and do that on the internet? So that's where e-commerce comes in. That's where e-marketing comes in. That's where e-procurement comes in. That's where e-recruitment comes in. That's where all of the digital ways of running your business. Instead of picking up your phone on making a call, you want to do an online chat, right? You want to send an email. So the internet is a global network of interconnected computers. So a lot of things can happen across the internet. So quite some people might ask, how do I make money online? How do I make my service global? How do I get some money off the internet and the rest? Simple things. Sell your product online or sell your services online. So how are you going to sell your services online? We're going to be exploring that as we move on in the course. But just understand that when you say e-business, you're trying to say your normal physical business. If you run a salon, the question is, how do you bring that online? How do you put all of those products, all of those services? How do you have a shop online? How can people book for your services? How can people schedule? How can people demand for home service? How can people see articles and podcasts or videos about all the things you're doing? How can you collect payments on the internet? How can you run promotionals? So you're trying to see how you can automate your offline business processes. So the web is one aspect of e-marketing. So you have engagement, you have participation, you have co-creation. For instance, if you have a forum, an online forum, if you check the website design course on the channel, we talked about forum, and in the subsequent videos, we're going to be exploring how you can set up a forum. So if you're new to the channel and you've liked what you've been getting up to this moment, please make sure you subscribe so that once I release new videos, you're going to understand and get notified. If you're old on the channel, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to share it to your friends and colleagues. Interested in doing digital marketing, interested in tech, interested in business, interested in career development. So one thing with the digital space is that it can foster quite a lot of co-creation. If you have a forum, if you have a blog, if you have a website, you might create something that will help your users to co-create. For instance, in a forum, somebody can create a topic, somebody can post, somebody can reply. That way the content, 80, 90, even at times 99% of the content you have on such kind of website was co-created by users. Now, one thing you need to also understand about digital marketing is that I'm trying to lay some of this foundation so that you can do marketing right, is that users now have more control. They decide who to patronize, they decide who to use, which service they are going to use. Now, it's to call pull marketing and push marketing. So the traditional marketing, the TV, the radio, the magazine, and newspapers are often referred to as push marketing, whereas the social media, digital marketing space, it's referred to as pull marketing. Because if you sit in front of a TV set, you're going to have tons and tons of adverts just in the space of 2 hours. But that's not the case when it comes to the digital marketing space. People have to now search out for what they need. So one of the things you're going to be learning in this course is how you're going to rank on first page of Google. Some KPIs, some key performance index that shows that you have actually learned after the 20 series thereabout is that you can position a business and make the business rank within 30, 40 days on first page of Google. So you're going to learn how. You're going to learn how you're going to use content to drive that based on competition. So understand that in the digital marketing space, comments can spread quickly and rapidly, both positive and negative. So you want to control what is happening within your space. So that brings me to what we call online reputation management. So later on in the course, we're going to address that. So you have a lot of people going online. You have a lot of people trying to get a product, get a service. You have different information about new products, new services, new locations. So there's a constant growth of what happens around the internet. Now, even small businesses can have an edge, right? Once they properly position themselves. So you have crowded quite a lot of information. So the question is, how can I be different? So in this course, you're going to be learning the AIDA model, right? What is A? That is attraction or awareness. What is I? Interest. What is D? Decision making, then of course, action. So action has to do with that final stage of selling where you now transact. But you don't just transact when it comes to the internet. Nobody's going to give you money just like that. There's what to call the customer journey. The person have to be aware. The person must be interested. So it is a game of percents. So a percent is aware. Let's say 100%. Get aware of your products and services. Then you have 50 that are kind of interested. That is AI, interested. Then you have like 10, 20 that maybe are deciding to either buy now or buy later. They might just be having 2, 3, 4, 5% now make payments. That is action. So it's a game of number. So as a digital marketer, your goal is to make sure that you have enough of persons at that awareness stage of your marketing process. Because you need to learn how to build relationships, right? You need to learn how to generate leads, capture customers. Now, your customer is not that person that is giving you money. Your customer is that first of all, person that is aware, person that is interested. Because it's the percent of the person that are interested, then I get to patronize your services. So you need to think about marketing from that standpoint. If you think about marketing as getting to meet people and they immediately buying, then you're going to lose out in marketing. So you got to see marketing as trying to get people aware of your products and services, then see how to nurture them to now become paying clients and maybe return clients or persons that cannot become your affiliate army. People that will go out there, refer persons to your products and services so that you can have sales. So in plain English, marketing is getting found online. You want to be found online. That is the first thing. You want to get your feet at the door of your prospect. That is your first goal. So you want to make sure you use any channel possible. We're going to be looking at about 19 components, 19 different strategies. I might expand that as we go on in the course. Then understand that marketing is a combination of art, science, and strategy. Why did I say marketing is an art? So there's a lot of psychology that goes into marketing. You've heard about the psychology of selling. So people don't just buy stuff because they want to buy stuff. There's some form of emotional attachment. Remember, we said marketing has to do with selling, or rather creating, communicating value of a product or service. It has to do with creating a relationship. So you can't create a relationship if somebody does not see value. So people must try to see value in what you're offering, and in seeing that value, then you can have likelihood that there's going to be an interest, then there's going to be a decision to buy, and there cannot be an eventual purchase. Why is it a science? So marketing is a science because you have to deal with numbers. You have to do with metrics. You have to do with some analytics. You need to tell how many persons are visiting the website, how many persons are visiting the Facebook account, the Twitter account, the Instagram account, how many persons are visiting all of that? How many persons are liking, how many persons are sharing? What kind of call to actions are you deploying, and what's the response like? Call to action, I mean CTAs: download, share, like, buy, fill the form, comment, subscribe. So you have a lot of call to actions. So the question is, what type of call to actions are you creating? And what kind of metrics do you have to showcase whether something is working or something is not working? It's also a science because you need to understand there's a technical aspect of marketing. That's why I tell students, if you want to master and do marketing end to end, you might need to also learn technical SEO, which I'm going to be covering in this course. In the heads up to the course, I've already talked about technical SEO. So that's where web design, web development comes in. Because no matter what you do, trying to market a particular product or service, you get people to a website, to a page, and there's no strong visual. There's no strong attraction to that particular website. Of course, you can't create a website without some technical skills like in design, in development, and the rest. Except you want to work with a team. Somebody is going to be in charge of the website, creating the digital assets, the graphics, the branding, and all of that. Then you're going to be in charge of the marketing and strategy. Then it's a strategy because everything is strategy. So marketing is not just about going on Facebook, posting, liking, sharing, commenting. So that is just an aspect of marketing. You need to be able to create a roadmap. You need to be able to create a plan. You need to be able to create your KPIs, key performance index. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm expecting. This is how I'm going to get it. This is how I'm going to exit. This is how I'm going to run my A and B strategy. I'm going to do one thing, I'm going to do it in two different ways. I'm going to see what works, and I'm going to rinse, I'm going to repeat, and I'm going to create stuff that works. So it's an art, it's a science, and also a strategy. So it's also less expensive if you compare it with conventional marketing, and the internet can be there for you 24/7. I talked about the AIDA model. Now, what are some of the touch points to make a sale? You're going to ask yourself, where are the different places my customers, my clients can get to me, my prospects can get to me? So we know digital marketers as persons, business persons, professionals that get to where, everywhere where they have their clients or prospects. Because you need to first get to your prospect before that person becomes a client. So people don't just become clients overnight. They become prospects, they become aware, they become interested, you do some communication, they connect to you, what you're doing, they get to make some decisions, and of course, they now make that final commitment to pay. Now, you could get in touch with your prospects via referrals. 2 days ago, we had a student who trained sometime early this year. He just called and said, okay, I have 2 persons. I have somebody that wants to enroll for a particular program with you. I said, okay, no qualms. He said, what's the commission? I said, okay, you have so commission. He said, okay, I think they'll be coming in by so time. Alas, that same day, they came in, made their payment, and same hour, he got his commission. And that is a sale through referrals. So you don't just get your clients by only web search, for instance, or by running ads. You could get your clients through satisfied clients. Social media mention. Somebody can make an inquiry and say, okay, I found you on Facebook, I found you on Twitter, I found you on Instagram and the rest. So you want to make sure that you are everywhere where you're going to find your prospects. You don't just want to choose one particular media. If you decide that, you might have reasons for that, but understand that that is just your touch point. So you're not going to have a sale outside that particular touch point. It can be via email. So that's where email marketing comes in, and it can be via ads. That's where online ads comes in. That is pay per click. Now, in doing marketing, you could have different objectives. If you have a question, if you have something to share with me, you could always use the comment section or inbox me. One way to make sure you're found on the internet is by having an optimized strategy. I prefer to teach my students strategy than to teach them how to place ads or how to post on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or how to post on content, post on blogs. Most of those things you could learn them on the streets. You could learn them by just a simple Google. You could learn that on YouTube. But the approach of this course is going to be strategy based. So you're going to walk through this foundation to get some heads up, to understand how things work, so that when I'm not talking about strategy development, you get to understand why, the reason behind any of the strategy, depending on the particular niche case study I'm looking at. So a particular strategy, a particular objective can be to just to reach the right audience. Now, most of the time, this is for established brands. It can just be to engage with your audience. Most of the time, this is for established brands. It can be to motivate your audience to take action. Most upcoming brands want to do this, right? It could be that you want to ensure efficient spending on your campaign. So if you have a timeline, I'm not talking about a long-term plan, marketing plan. I'm talking about a short-term plan. Most of the times you want to have good ROI. You want to make sure that if you're spending $1,000, you want to get good returns. I normally tell my students, imagine you sell something, 10 pieces of an item, and the profit you make for selling 10 pieces of an item is actually the cost of your running that marketing. You made no profit. There was no ROI. You just made sales. So cash flow is not equal to profit. So you must make sure that for every investment, for every marketing that is being done, there is an ROI. So benefits of digital marketing over traditional media is that it puts the customer in control. We've talked about that. It provides convenience. People right from their home, they could try to search online. Just before I started this recording, somebody was just trying to make an inquiry. Okay, I found you on this, I found you on that. Because that convenience makes it possible that within seconds, you can actually reach, conclude, make sales, and you move on. It could also drive brand loyalty. So imagine right from home, I can patronize a particular brand over and over and over and again. It makes it more simpler. So I don't need to visit a physical shop to show my loyalty or to purchase a particular product or service. It also reduces the selling cycle. Remember the example I gave about a satisfied client that referred somebody else that now made purchase? That's a cycle. That same satisfied client can come back again and make a purchase. So he doesn't need to leave his location to come make a purchase. So it makes it quite a lot easier. Of course, you could build a brand, you could measure it. I talked about analytics. In this course also, I'm going to be exploring Facebook analytics, Twitter analytics, website analytics. You're going to see most of these visuals when we start doing the case studies and the hands-on. Yes, you have quite a ton of advantage. I love geo marketing. You can target where you have competitive advantage. Now, if you are in city A, you don't have competitive advantage to market to people that are in city F. right? So it makes sense to geo-target your particular city so that it's easy for you to render service. They could walk into your office if you have an office. They could see you face to face and book a meeting. They could be very rest assured that there's low cost in shipment and all the advantages of job marketing. Now, there's some disadvantage. You don't know the person, right? People can not be transparent. People can choose not to be transparent. At times, especially if you're doing, if you're shooting HD videos, if you're going to be taking nice pictures, for instance, if you want to be vlogging, if you want to be taking photographs, if you need a good laptop to do maybe graphics, to design websites, to automate most of your processes, you might need hardware. So that's where the cost comes from. But this cost you actually cannot compare to if you need to do offline marketing. If in Nigeria and as many countries as you might be watching this video from, you have regulations. Like in Nigeria, we have the Cybercrime Act that tells us how we use the internet. Now, you might have some regulations. You might also have cultural issues. You might have people that are kind of don't want to purchase things from the internet. You might have fear factors, right? So that's why if you are to do marketing, you want to make sure that you first create relationships, especially if you're doing digital marketing. You want to make sure that you are creating relationships. Creating relationships helps you to better do marketing. It will help you to better create some kind of attachment to whoever you're going to now sell to. So you can't just come and say, okay, take this, it's good for you. There must be some kind of value rendition. You must render value, and upon that value, then people will want to patronize your services. And of course, you could measure. I talked about analytics. We're going to be looking at Facebook. We're going to be looking at Instagram. We're going to be looking at Twitter. We're going to be looking at website analytics. This will help you make better informed decisions. Because the beauty about online marketing, you could track everything. I prefer when I do marketing to see everything real time as the process is going on. You cannot do that, for instance, if you put your ad on a newspaper. You cannot tell how many people is going to call you. You cannot tell how many people have seen the ad. You cannot tell how many people have seen the announcement, right? You might put a radio ad and 1,001 people are going to try to call you. When they try to call you, they don't get to you, and that's all. But in the digital marketing space, you could see how many people have seen the ad or your article. You can see how many people have not filled the form. Then you can see how many people are not trying to reach out to you. That's the beauty of analytics in marketing. So in the next series of videos, I'm going to be talking about the 7 C's of marketing. The 7 C's of marketing. See you in the next video.